The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode. And now, here's Brandon.
All right, welcome back to the Brandon Peters Show. Back from a while because they're not necessarily reruns, but I've been putting the commentaries for Out Now with Aaron and Abe as my Monday episodes. Give me a break while I work on my other summer project. But this week will be a summer movie preview at the theaters, the current summer, before I head back into 1993 summer. So this is a preview. And joining me for that, back to the show, the staff writer for Gizmodo IO9, the wonderful Sabina Graves.
Hello.
Yes.
Excited to be back.
Yes. I'm calling this Brandon and Sabina's 2023 summer movie preview. So there you go. If you like me, if you like Sabina, and you like summer movies, well, you're going to get some entertaining chat here for the next so many minutes or so. Sabina, how have you been?
I've been good. Just been very busy. It's been a wild start to the year. I did a lot of theme park stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've been reading myself apart at IO9. I did the opening for the Tron roller coaster and the opening for Toontown and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. So theme parked it up, but I'm excited to jump back into movies coming up.
Gotcha. Is the Mickey is that the did it? Because there's a ride in Orlando is that the same as that one?
Yes,
and it just opened.
It's essentially the same ride.
Okay.
It does have a completely different queue. The one here is wild. They have like instead of doing like the Chinese theater, which we actually have here in LA, they did a movie theater in the universe of Mickey Mouse and Toontown. Okay. And so it's like a little like community theater that just a little like cinema house that celebrates hometown hero Mickey Mouse. Okay. And it's really great because it has like mashup posters as if awesome. They were movies that happened in Toontown, but they're like spins on movies we have. So there's like a Freaky Friday movie that is Mickey and Max switching bodies. There's the Mouseketeer, which is obviously like the Rocketeer with Mickey Mouse, and there's a movie called Miska Mooska, which is Hocus Pocus.
Okay.
But with like Daisy and Minnie, and Clarabelle, I believe, is the third one. But yeah, it's really cute, and they have like a bunch of Easter eggs and set pieces from things you know Mickey Mouse from. So there's like the Steamboat Willie, there's a piece of like the ship there. There's like Mickey Mouse Sorcerer's Apprentice hat is there on display. So it's really wild because the queue here is way better than the queue in Orlando.
Really? Okay, yeah. Well, it's just you're just in a red carpeted, like it's literally the tour you can get at Grauman's, but you're not on the tour. You're just sitting in line waiting. Which they do that amazing little trick when you're in the theater and then it crashes in there and then it's open. Like that's a pretty cool visual trick there.
Yeah, they do that here too, and it's so much fun.
It reminds me of when Universal had this one. I'm going to Universal in the fall this year, but the back last time I was there was like 2011, and they had this like Atlantis type thing where you like just like wander around and you're like, okay, this is cool, and then you're in this like little room and the lights go out and they come on and you are like in this cavernous thing. You're like, how did they do that? I heard nothing go or anything like that. Just really cool stuff, but reminded me of that with that. So yeah, you are really busy with theme parks, and like if you don't follow Sabina on like Instagram or Twitter or something, you should, because you can see all the cool stuff she gets to do that you might not get to. You can live vicariously through her trips. So it's a high recommend. So here's what we're gonna do. Sabina and I are gonna go through the calendar of May, June, July, and August, and we're gonna talk about what movies are coming out, our thoughts on them, and then we're gonna play some games. a little bit that we'll return to and look back at the summer after it's passed in like September. So stay tuned towards the end for some fun. But first off, so far this year, before summer, what have been some of your favorite movies this year, if you've gotten out to? Well,
Oh yeah, I really liked Megan, Cocaine Bear, Creed 3, Scream. Oh, and I mean, I saw John Wick too. I love John Wick. The one that really surprised me though, that I'm really into, is Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, like I'm right with you with most of those. I have to say, like, I had this run of just March had 5 weekends. Well, one of them was March into April, but I enjoyed every single movie I went to. Like, and I was at the, like, it was Creed 3, Scream 6. I liked Shazam, Dungeons and Dragons, or John Wick and Dungeons and Dragons. Like every weekend was like, and I'm like, I don't even know. We're gonna go through this summer. I don't even know that there's a run of weekends that extends to like 5 of movies that I'm like eager to see, but 2 confident that they're gonna be at least solid. You know, that's kind of what happened. And then I wasn't the biggest Mario fan. My kids loved it, and that was enough for me. But then I went and saw Air the same weekend. I was like, okay, I like that quite a bit too. So, but yeah, and last year, I don't know what it is with March and April, but there was a weekend last year where I saw on like Friday night, I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once, and then Saturday I saw RRR. So that's how badass this like spring has been.
Yeah.
The last couple years. So just but that's where we're at. Okay.
You were one of the early RRR.
Yes. Yeah.
Peeps.
I was. Yeah. It was played here for like here in Indianapolis. It played for like a month. I didn't even catch it on like the first weekend. I caught it like the second weekend, and that was so much fun. And I took my son randomly because I was like, "You want to go see a movie today? It's like 3 hours. It's like in Hindi." He's like, "Yeah, I guess." And then he loved it. So that movie's universally just amazing.
I mean, I'm still chasing the high of that movie. I don't know when the next time a movie will reach that like cinematic experience.
Yeah.
We'll hope something does.
Our blockbusters need to be fearless like that and just embrace being a movie. And yeah, that's what one of my themes I noticed with myself last year when I came up with my 10 favorite films of last year, which RRR did make, was there was like earnestness was back. Like they're like every one of mine.
Absolutely.
No, they weren't snarkily made movies. They were all like Everything Everywhere All at Once. That is where's it's, you know, every emotions on its sleeve. Everything was earnest. It wasn't like, this is stupid, right? That kind of thing, which Marvel
even like the Ratatouille stuff was absolutely played straight in earnest, and it was amazing.
Yeah, it was endearing. Like everything I noticed when I made my 10, I was like, wow, all of these movies really are earnest, and a lot of them have some old school, like what we used to like in Blockbuster. Just accept it, be like, yeah, it's a movie. We go to the movies. Like they make us emotional, they make us this, but you know, when like Top Gun, that was very earnest. Like and Avatar, they were all just So that was what was back. Will it be back this year or continue? I don't know. We'll see as we go through these films of 2023, which it kicks off with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
We were criminals, friends, and then we became guardians.
On May 5th.
Are you ready for one last ride?
Let's make it count. We are. Summer begins.
I will destroy the Guardians
with their final tour.
It's a face-off.
I guess we'll die trying.
I am Groot.
I know who you are already.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Rated PG-13 in theaters May 5th.
Obviously, I'm excited for that one. I'm sure. Are you a big Guardians fan? I've talked to people, random people who just like. There's people who like Marvel movies, but the space stuff is a bit much for them, and I'm like, like it's the fun stuff, but okay.
Yeah, I also feel like there's people who love the Guardians
and then nothing else,
and nothing else, or like they like Guardians and Black Panther, but not like the general Avengers-y sort of like interconnected movies. You know, they like more of like the ones that still are connected, but they branch out more into do their own thing. But no, I love Marvel and been following the Marvel Cinematic Universe since it started. But Guardians is, I would say, like some of my favorite films, maybe even my favorite. It's certainly the films my husband and I connected over, and little like adorable corniness, but it's really sincere. We don't have a song. We decided early on that the Awesome Mix was like our songs.
Oh,
so
there you
anytime
go.
we hear a song from the Awesome Mix in the grocery store, out in the out in public, or on the radio, it's like our song's playing, and it's like one of the many songs on the Awesome Mixes. So
we aren't a single, we are a full album.
Yes.
And now volumes. We're volumes.
We're volumes.
That's good.
Yes. So that's been a lot of fun to kind of like follow along with the movies, but also, yeah, like Guardians was one of the films that definitely felt like a lot more bold choices were being made with bringing in James Gunn, and just James Gunn's saga throughout, making all of these films, and his commitment to these characters, and just how much of himself he puts into these movies, particularly Rocket's character, has been, very joyous to watch and cathartic in many ways. So I'm very excited for this chapter close, but also nervous because I think there's gonna be very many tears for sure.
Yeah. I have to wonder. I've started to wonder if Rocket. It feels like Rocket's gonna bite it, but I'm like, maybe that's a red herring, because like he's a focus of like the posters. He's got the sad lines in the trailers. I'm like, maybe it's they're going, hey, look over here, get worried, and then bam, somebody else. But yeah, the Guardians ones are like of my favorite Marvel movies. The first one is probably top 5. I don't want to have to sit and think too hard, but on some days it might maybe be my top Marvel movie, because I don't know, there's something that James Gunn has managed to be one of the directors that work the best in the Marvel system. Like there's a lot of people who come in, and then there's some, while I enjoy the movies, there's like an assembly line quality to some of them. His don't feel, they're colorful, because I know a lot of them got this like they had this like flat color scheme going to them, but his are colorful. These are weird, and they're just, they feel like him start to finish. And I think Black Panther has felt that way too. Coogler's one of the people that have been able to like shine start to finish. Others will have touches of themselves throughout there, but the Gunn stuff's really good. And I think the second one's really good too. I know that one's a bit hit or miss with people, but it's not the same movie as the first one. It has some really interesting stuff to it. Yeah, I'm very excited for a third Guardians. It's weird where they were to start and where they are now, because there's like a big gap between second and third one. But like when they started, I mean, between Guardians 1 and 2, I remember everybody loved Chris Pratt back then. Now it's like, oh, Chris Pratt, like he was like until like, because there's the Lego movie, that Parks and Rec, like, oh, we love Chris Pratt and everything, Jurassic Park, like, and then now going in here, it's like, I guess we'll have like, that's the general, sense of the people. But
it's wild because as far as like some of my colleagues and stuff, Chris Pratt has starred in movies that have damaged childhood franchises recently, with Jurassic World and Super Mario Brothers movie. I don't exactly agree with Super Mario Brothers movie per se. I actually kind of enjoyed it, but I'm also not a like Nintendo child. So I'm not a video gamer, so I just enjoyed it just on the like surface level, like, oh, this is cute, like this is fun.
Well, there's good stuff in it. I was just kind of like,
Bowser's everything, and Luna Lee is my inner like spirit. So
there you go. Yeah, I just was like, I don't know, there's some more I was hoping for, but it said Illumination. I know how those movies go. I've sat through many of them with my kids. But yeah, it was just kind of a thing. But no, there's enjoyable ability to have in Mario. I was just like, okay. But on the other hand,
hopefully it doesn't follow the trend with Chris Pratt in movies. I don't know. I don't dislike the guy. I think there's questionable aspects of some of his choices. But like, actually, I always think that Star-Lord wasn't ever like the highlight of Guardians for me, at least. I
Mhm.
think that, you know, it definitely introduced him as a great sort of ensemble core person.
Right.
Which Chris Pratt in an ensemble, I think always shines the most. Not
Yeah.
like more than everyone else, but I think that's where, like, when he is a part of like a grouping,
He bounces off people really well. Yeah.
he bounces out, yeah, for sure. And so, like, you know, that's definitely something you saw in Parks and Rec, and that's something that's been a part of like what has made Guardians as a crew work, is that everyone really balances each other out. And that's what I'm more excited to see, that camaraderie come back on screen, and how that's going to play out.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, the surprise of the original, and now like master thespian Dave Bautista like has come out, and I love his like thing, like you love it. He's like, oh, I'm done with this shit, this kind of attitude. But you're like, yeah, I love you, whatever. Like, but he's, you know, they're asking him about being done, and he's giving you the Daniel Craig post Spectre answer, which is give the guy a break. He just finished probably what was a hard shoot. Let him work on other things. But I mean, he's become quite the star, or just like respectable actor since Guardians. Because I remember like the year before that he was in Riddick, and it was like, and then he was in Guardians, and you're like, holy crap, this guy's funny. And then he kept working, and then he kept being like, you know, he's pretty good.
Oh, for sure. Like, even back to like My Spy, you know, like
Yes!
it was cool to see him in that and play comedic, obviously, but I think that's the closest we've gotten to him being like a romantic lead, kind of, because even though it's kind of like the B plot, I thought he was like very endearing and stuff. But then he was also able to like turn and give very like intense, you know, complex performances in like Blade Runner. And
did you see Knock at the Cabin?
Yeah.
So like that is a really silly part on paper, and he pulls it off like you, I mean, buy into it. Someone else, you've been like, oh god, what is this? But he sells what is a really wild concept and silly character on paper. He sells hard. It's awesome for him.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see where he's going to go, and he's going to play, you know, one of the intense bad guys in Doom coming up.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Whew.
My prediction, one day he's going to direct a movie, and it's going to be pretty damn good, and people are going to be like, whoa, but you should see it coming, because if you look at his career choices, he's always working with like a top known director, like Villeneuve, Shyamalan, like he's even Bond. He was working with Mendes. He wasn't on some other Bond movie. It was a Sam Mendes Bond movie, and like he's working with directors because he's learning. And Bradley Cooper did the same thing before Star is Born. He's working with like different directors and stuff, and like they pick up on stuff. Like Affleck did that. Like, so I imagine he'll direct something, and we'll all be like, whoa. Potentially Adam Driver too. Potentially Adam Driver's in that boat too. Because I'm like, you're not doing blockbusters all the time here when you could. You're sitting and picking interesting people to work with. So that's yeah. But yeah, Guardians 3 that kicks off on May the 5th. But also that day we have counter programming, a movie called Love Again coming from Sony, and it's got, is it Priyanka Chopra Jonas, Sam Heughan, and Celine Dion's in it. So that's your counter programming this year.
Is that the one where Celine is actually in it, like as herself?
I think so.
I'm intrigued. I think I read a little bit about that one, and I was like, this is a really wild concept.
Yeah, so it's the little line is that Mira Ray, who is struggling to cope with the death of her fiance, unintentionally sends a sequence of romantic messages to his old cell phone number, which has been reassigned to Rob Burns' new work phone. As a journalist, Rob is drawn to the candidness in Mira's beautifully written text. When he is tasked with writing a feature about the famous singer Celine Dion, he seeks her assistance in finding a way to meet Mira in real life and ultimately win her affection. So that is, go Celine. But yeah, sure.
I love an unhinged sort of like meet cute that is kind of bonkers, but it's ridiculous enough to where I want to see if it'll work.
Yeah, and I'm champion, like, hey, romantic comedy in the theater, like, I hope people go. Like, all genres need to be theater available. That's been one that's been, should we, like, it's been the comedies in general too. But it's the was it Maid of Honor? Was that the Patrick Dempsey one that came out alongside like Spider-Man 3 when that came out? So got to have that counter programming for the movie that for the Guardians movie that's coming out. Okay, so and then the next week we'll move on to May 12th. The first movie that comes out to challenge Guardians of the Galaxy for the Summer Throne is Book Club: The Next Chapter.
Is this a sequel to some? Okay.
To Book Club.
To Book Club. Okay.
To Book Club.
When did Book Club come out? Because I have no memory of this.
Oh my gosh. 2018 is when it came out. This of course is the Diane Keaton, Jane Fonda, Candice Bergen, and Mary Steenburgen team. I didn't see Book Club, so
I did not see Book Club, and I did see 80 for Brady, and I had a great time with that. I want to know when 80 for Brady 2 comes out.
There you 81 for Brady.
81 for Brady.
Yeah. So like this is the class. I mean, this has been a thing for a while. Like, let's get these. They used to headline their own movies or Oscar pictures, and let's get these old gals together and have some fun. And this is that kind of one. These are not typically my cup of tea. I once on a plane saw the Jane Austen Book Club. That was kind of one of these. Had Jimmy Schmitz in it, so I was like, all right, you know what? Give it a shot. Wasn't very good, but yeah. Book Club. Oh, in the next chapter. That one. Then we have also, let's see, we have looks like Charlie Day, his first movie as a director, Fool's Paradise, coming out. It's probably a more limited release.
Okay.
But a down on his luck publicist, played by Ken Jeong, gets his lucky break when he discovers a man recently released from a mental health facility looks just like a method actor who refuses to leave his trailer. So it's got a lot of celebrities in this one. Charlie Day directing. So it's a good year for him. He's in what's probably going to be the biggest movie of the year. I imagine, like, summer can have whatever, but I think Mario is just going to be this freaking juggernaut. So.
Oh, for sure.
So good year for Charlie Day. Here. Yeah, so there's that. Then we have the Robert Rodriguez movie Hypnotic, which I think is getting a theatrical release.
I think it is too. This
Ben
trailer
Affleck
is something. It is. Oh boy.
Didn't he show this movie unfinished to South by Southwest? Like, here's what I have so far. Or some festival this year. He showed it unfinished. I'm like, what are you doing, man? But like, this isn't like a test screening. You're showing it to people who are gonna go blab about it. But
it's so wild with like it's the comparisons that it's drawing, and we really don't know what it's entirely about, because people are like, oh, it's kind of like Inception, but it's also like a mystery, and like it's Ben Affleck being Ben Affleck. But like on a quest to save or get his daughter back, I believe, from something.
yeah, it's
and like hypnotism is like a big thing with it. So is it a thriller? Is it a supernatural movie? I don't know.
Right. Yeah, no, you'll have to go to the theater to find out, apparently. But if it plays around you, seems like, I wonder if that's gonna be like, because it's from Ketchup Entertainment, Solstice Studios, and Ingenious Media. So I don't imagine that's a really wide release here. So I don't know. Another one coming out is Knights of the Zodiac. That's Japanese film. It's an action fantasy. It comes out in Japan on April 28th, in the United States on May 12th, and these have been doing pretty good. These are like what's dominating the box office overseas as well too. So that could be a surprise, not box office surprise hit, but something that'd be like, oh, I saw this badass movie, fantasy movie. So
Yeah.
And probably limited release also Monica. It's a 2022 festival film. The IFC Films is releasing the second weekend as well. It's about a woman returns home to care for her dying mother. Stars Patricia Clarkson, Amberly Browning. So, yeah.
Is that horror or is it like a drama?
It is a drama.
Okay.
So, yeah. Interesting. It'll probably be in your independent theaters and stuff like that. So that's coming. That's the second week of summer here, and we moved to May 19th with the big movie Fast X.
Dominic Toretto. Problem with having such a big family. Can't save them all.
You'll never break my family.
Boom.
He's coming for you with everything.
Let's dig some graves.
We need weapons and cars.
Cannon cars. That was awesome.
Only theaters May 19th.
Are you big on the Fast movies?
I am. I grew up with all the Fast films, and that's one where I'm just like, I reach the craziest heights. I'm there. And I can't wait to see what is gonna happen in this one, just because the trailers have me really amped up, and Momoa as the villain.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, I was pumped to see him. He's happy to be there. He is like, yeah, I feel like he could re-energize this thing as it hits its final turn. Pun intended. And I love the use of Notorious Thugs, the Bone Thugs and Harmony Notorious B.I.G. song that I used to crank in high school. But I was like, what? No way. And then Momoa, and there's just a vibe to it. Like, I feel really good. But granted, every time these movies release a trailer, I am like so psyched after watching the trailer. And then, like, yeah, the movies typically deliver, but I'm just like, part of the fun of Fast and Furious is that first trailer and being like, what? Because they hide everything so well. And then it's like, here's a surprise for you. And it's this trailer, and you're like, how did you guys film and do all this? And nobody like leaked a thing. Maybe it's because I don't go looking for leaks, but it feels like it's a big surprise every time.
Definitely.
And this one, Justin Lin quit this film a couple weeks into shooting, so have to wonder. We'll see how we do with what's his name? Louis Leterrier, or whatever his name is, who directed Incredible Hulk, Clash of the Titans, and the Now You See Me movies. So we will see how he handles that. But yeah, I'm very excited. Everybody's back, and I feel like the door is opening for Dwayne Johnson to return for the final one, because this one's going back to Fast 5.
I don't know.
He seems like he's gonna need it. And
he does, but I don't know if Vin Diesel is gonna be willing.
Vin's looking really good these days, though. That's the thing with the whole beef with Dwayne. Like, it's, I don't know. We'll have to see. The Black Adam and this Moana thing, I'm like, well, what is going on here? We'll see. But I have a feeling that they will it's like a wrestling thing. Like, it's gonna wrestling storyline. Like, their beef also, it feels weird. Like, it could be manufactured.
It could be manufactured,
for this. Yeah. So you never know. But I feel like a dump truck could be backed up. They maybe actually share a real scene together, unlike the last one they were in, where it, like, you could tell they were maybe not on set together during it, because that last shot of that rooftop dinner scene looks really weird. But yeah, so that's Fast X, but it's not the only movie coming out on that weekend. You can go see the remake of White Men Can't Jump that has Cinqua Wallace and Jack Harlow.
Jack Harlow.
Jack Harlow, who I didn't know existed until Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, I didn't know he existed until he did that feature on the Lil Nas X song.
Okay.
That's it. And I was like, oh, okay, so we are moving full steam ahead with that guy and not Lil Nas X, who has Prince energy and who I feel like would be fun in movies.
Yeah. This is also the late Lance Reddick is in this movie as well, but I don't know if there's going to be a draw for this or anything like that, but best of luck to White Men Can't Jump, because I don't know. We have probably a light release Paul Schrader's next movie with Joel Edgerton, Sigourney Weaver in it, and Quintessa Swindell. It's called Master Gardener. So imagine that's going to be a limited engagement that comes up. His last one was the one with Oscar Isaac, I think, the Card Counter, which was okay. I mean, if you're into Paul Schrader movies, pretty good. He's had some. He kind of goes, it looks like he gets to make what he wants. They're usually low budget. They don't lose people money. They might garner some award attention, like he did the one with Ethan Hawke, the Priest one, that got a lot good buzz and stuff like that. So there's that. And then a movie called Sanctuary, which is getting a limited release that weekend, but it will wide release the next weekend. It's a thriller. It's about a heir to a hotel empire and the dominatrix who has primed him for success battle it out in a hotel room as he tries to end their relationship. So it has Zachary Wigon. Zachary Wigon has directed it, and it stars Margaret Qualley and Christopher Abbott.
Christopher Abbott and Margaret Qualley.
Yes. I haven't watched the trailer for this one, but the poster, I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen that poster floating around the internet a bunch. So that's our first thriller coming out this summer. We're on week 3, but everything, which this next week, as we move to the 26th, the big movie is on my daughter's birthday, is The Little Mermaid.
Hey!
Are you pumped for this one, or like how you feel?
I'm very excited for the cast in this, and the cast in this. I love the cast.
Okay, you love the cast.
The cast is great. It seems I am very excited about it. I believe that someday we will get really good live action Disney.
Okay, that's I was wondering. I was like, how do you feel about these live action ones? Like, granted, I know Pinocchio was made for Disney Plus and stuff, but my gosh, when you watch that one and then you watch Guillermo del Toro's, you're like, what was the point of the one Zemeckis made? Like, and he's like, what? Like, he's way better than that too, Zemeckis typically, but like, yeah, like these things, I like what they're doing with The Little Mermaid and concept and idea, but like one of the weirdest things was when I went and saw Avatar, Way of Water last December. They had the audacity to be like, let's throw a Little Mermaid trailer with that. I'm like, you don't want to.
Yeah, no, that is such a disservice.
That is all, because like you're about to show those underwater effects, and then don't do it. Don't do it. Like, what are you doing? But
it seems so dim and dark, and that is not at all what the Little Mermaid's palette should be.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like someone person had put, like, when they were talking about the success of Avatar and Top Gun, like, and then some certain movies not performing as well, and someone's like, well, it's as if once they had a taste of steak, they realized they could have it all the time, or something like that. I think it was based on like Ant-Man's like poor performance at the box office, which it still made a lot of money. It was just not the oodles of money, but the Ant-Man series hadn't made like tons of money, but like, and blaming it on effects and stuff, and it's like, yeah, well, Little Mermaid could be in that wheelhouse, but
although I do think the Little Mermaid will have legs.
Oh no, people are gonna go see it out the wall. This is one of them.
It's like the whole Mario thing. I think, growing up in like late 80s, early 90s, the two big things are like Nintendo and Little Mermaid.
Right. Yeah. No, that's 100%. This is right in that area. Though. Yeah, it was like 89 was Little Mermaid. So you're like Beauty and the Beast, you're right in that run of stuff. And I think that's the title that you're hitting the right spot. That's the people who are parents now. We're kids then. Now, I'll take my kid to Little Mermaid. That's the one people want to see. But then they're like, well, we made like, and it's one of my favorite ones of the remakes. But it's like, why didn't anybody go to Pete's Dragon? Like, nobody had the nostalgia for Pete's Dragon to like, buy into it. Which the Pete's Dragon one's really good.
It is.
And then, but there's like Dumbo. Like we talked about that. Like there wasn't. Yeah, so this is one of the like Beauty and the Beast. Like that was okay. People want to say, and you have Emma Watson as Belle. Like that's an immediate like you're making $1 billion. Like that's just perfect. But Aladdin too. That's one people want to see. So this is right with them. Lion King, that one, did a lot of money, but it was in that. Well, why'd we do this? Type thing, but. Yeah, Little Mermaid. I think it's gonna. Yeah, it's gonna hit. It's gonna bank. So, also coming out with it is About My Father, which is the one that I think I saw it with John Wick Chapter 4. I saw the trailer and it kept going on. And I was with my sister and I was like, "This looks awful." Like what? Have you seen the trailer for this one?
I don't know what's in the trailer. I might have. I saw John Wick, so.
So it's De Niro and like it's got Leslie Bibb and.
Oh my gosh, I was cringing the whole time.
I was like, "This is real. Somebody didn't stop production."
There's like the whole he cooks the peacock or something.
Yes. Like, yep.
No.
Yeah, I was like, no. I don't even know the guy who's the lead in it. I was like, this looks really bad. So yeah, that one's gonna get tossed up against Little Mermaid. There's also coming out is The Machine, which is an action comedy. And it stars Mark Hamill in it. But it's a true story, stand-up routine adapted into a movie. Like says Bert Kreischer and his father are kidnapped by those Bert wronged 20 years ago while drunk on a college semester abroad in Russia. I haven't seen a trailer.
I saw the trailer for this.
Okay.
This was weird. But I'm kind of into it.
Okay.
Like, I think Mark Hamill plays a dad to someone who he like acted like you won't amount to nothing or something, right?
Yeah.
They get like involved in this sort of like criminal thing, and they have to get out of it. But it's weird. It's weird. It's one of those where like I have A-list, I have spots. I will go see this movie with Mark Hamill because if Mark Hamill signed on to it, there has to be some weird angle to it that is, tapping into something that he had fun with. So I want to know what it is.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So that, I don't know how wide like it'll be, but like, this is Memorial Day weekend here where we're at right now, which is just, it's loaded. Like there's those three. And then we have the Kandahar, the Gerard Butler, post 9/11 Afghanistan movie, not to be confused with the Jake Gyllenhaal one that opens a month before it. Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. So in case people are going to get confused with that mid 2000s horror movie, The Covenant, we got a Guy Ritchie's The Covenant or Alien The Covenant.
It'll be The White House Down, Olympus Has Fallen.
Yeah.
Thing all over again.
Yeah. This is Tom Harris, an undercover CIA operative, is stuck deep in hostile territory in Afghanistan. When an intelligence leak exposes his identity and mission, he must fight his way out alongside his Afghan translator to an extraction point in Kandahar, all while avoiding the elite special forces unit tasked with hunting him down. So, yeah, Gerard Butler, paint by numbers type thing, but he knows what he's doing. he's got his niche. He does it well. I liked Plane. Plane was surprised me. It was pretty good. And I'm not a big Gerard Butler fan. Even the ones that people are high on, I'm kind of like, but I liked Plane. But this is his latest. And then also You Hurt My Feelings, which is the A24 comedy drama that's got Julia Louis-Dreyfus in it. That one releases the same day, probably the less amount of theaters. I don't know how we have enough screens to play all these things in May, but we've got it. So that's what we have. We will move.
A whole lot of movies.
There's a whole lot of movie, and we're 1 month in. We got June.
It's just hard to see my little man not being my little boy all the time.
Miles!
Want to get out of here?
We are supposed to be the good guys. We are.
So this is a Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, The Boogeyman, and Past Lives. That's another A24 film. That one looks pretty interesting. Past Lives.
Generally at this point, if it's an A24 movie, I won't miss it. Although I think I am gonna miss Beau is Afraid because it just creeps me out.
Yeah, it's 3 hours too. So if you're not into
3
it,
hours
it's a
of
long
anxiety
time.
and cringe. I'm okay. Actually, I don't know if you have fallen into this whole thing that's going on the internet where most people thought that the younger version of Beau was like AI, like face sort of like what's that word? The face thing.
A deep fake or
people thought it was like a deep fake of like Joaquin Phoenix performing as his younger self.
Oh,
but it's actually an actor.
Oh, it's okay.
So it's an actual person, and I don't know. There's a group of people, me included, who thought it was like in Captain America whenever they like
little Steve.
Little Steve and stuff. So I thought that's what was going on, but no, it's an actual person, and I'm very creeped out now. And that adds on to the creep factor where now there's this person that I never knew existed who actually apparently exists, and I'm like, no, I'm okay.
Very good. Sabina is afraid. So,
but I will go see The Boogeyman, which
let's get a good trailer, good sound design trailer for it. Yeah.
Which is Rob Savage. I didn't see his second film. I don't want to be a part of the conversation in regards to that one. But I really liked Host. So to see him go into a feature that's more like assembled excites me because I think, like the trailer was really effective. I thought it delivered on some scares just in that by itself. So looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it was whatchamacallit, the original Boogeyman, which I haven't seen in a long time. I know people dig that one. It's a cult item, but this had a good trailer. Chris Messina, who was really good in Air, is doing a different thing here. So I'm definitely I'm curious about Boogeyman as well, but I will be 100% going to Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Heck yeah.
The second code. That is the like I love that first one so much, and like I like that is such a special movie, and Lord and Miller are like they're really good at no one should do that and then making it like the best thing in the world, which it's kind of sad we didn't get to see their version of Solo because that was a bad idea, and they're the guys that you get
that could have pulled it off.
That you're like, 21 Jump Street, what the wow, that was really good. And then Spider-Man, like an animated Spider-Man while they're still doing Spider-Man, and then you're like, oh my heart, this movie is amazing. So I trust this one is going to be dynamite.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited from what we've seen so far in the trailers. Just all the spider people. Mayday is adorable. Just their and just seeing the new characters and sort of like, you know, the way that they're introducing like this battle between them, between Miles and the Spider People is, I want to see where it's going to go, and I'm excited to be surprised because, like you said, the first one was surprising on all levels. They went to places that we didn't expect, and I think that, you know, with the reception it got of everyone being like, go reach those places, that it'll hopefully be the film that gets close to the high of RRR.
Right, yeah, no, and it just going for it. Like, I love there's no holding back. Like, there's no like, well, next time we'll do that. Like, it's like there's like a billion Spider-Man in the trailer and all that. Like, I'm just like, okay, but the trailer seemed like, I think Scott Mendelson pointed out that like the best thing about the trailer was like it really knew what made the first one special. Like, it started with the mom scene and everything. I was like, okay, yeah, it's like they know what they had there, so that's always comforting to know. So that's our first weekend of June. The Transformers are back the next weekend with Rise of the Beasts, and then a movie called Strays, which is got Will Ferrell and Jamie Foxx. It's a comedy about dogs.
It's like Homeward Bound but raunchy.
Yeah.
Essentially. I've seen that trailer. It's pretty funny. I'm more excited for Strays than I am Transformers, admittedly.
Yeah. I like what's his name from In the Heights, and he was in the Hamilton. Oh, what's his name? Can't remember. That's bad of me. I like him. I like seeing RC, the Transformer, the female Transformer, because she's very much looks like her animated counterpart, but she had a brief part in Bumblebee, which I'll tell you this, I loved Bumblebee.
I did too.
That was one of my favorite blockbusters of the 10s. Like, no joke, it made my top 10 that year. I fell in love with Bumblebee, like, because I grew up, so like any boy who is my age, I grew up a Transformers fan. Like, I was big, like Optimus Prime was my hero. I saw the first Transformers movie and I cried. It was the first movie I cried at because he died. And then like these Michael Bay movies came out and people were like so excited about that first one. And I was just kind of like, huh. And there was something wrong with, I couldn't think of what was going on. Like, what's wrong with me? And then throughout them, I just didn't care of all those 5 movies. And then Bumblebee came out and we're all out our own nostalgia, but the opening scene of Bumblebee hooked me in. I felt like I was a child, like the 80s vibe was in there, good. And I know we're soaked in like 80s nostalgia stuff, but this was like when there was only like Stranger Things when Bumblebee came out, and Haley Steinfeld was great. And I was just like, oh my gosh, they filmed it. It was the Leica guy did the movie, which was
right. Yeah.
Yeah. And he filmed it. Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
I did 185, which is what you should do at Transformers. So it looks huge. And I don't know why Bay and them go with the 240, 239, because like you want the Transformer to feel giant on the screen. But this one, the Bumblebee simplified it. There weren't a billion Transformers. They looked discernible. They weren't overly busy with their designs. The opening sequence was crazy. It was like E.T., but with Bumblebee. I fell for it. And then like it didn't do as well. But I think I feel like that was a movie that if you were going to take a chance and continue with it, you'd have seen some benefits, because I think people were just cashed out on Transformers. And then when they started seeing it on streaming and stuff, were like, oh my gosh, I like the Bumblebee one. So I think that would have happened. But I think they just abandoned that. And they're just like, here's the Beast Wars now. So yeah, I'm just not. If they would have brought back and did another story with Haley Steinfeld, I would have been there, excited. But this one, I'm like, I probably won't go through, unless one of my kids really wants to see it. Yeah. But so Strays, yes. Strays.
The concept, I'm surprised it hasn't been done before. But you know, like Will Ferrell has been so many different characters, and now voicing a dog who is on a revenge mission to go back home to kill his owner.
Yeah,
I'm game for.
Yeah, something different for sure. The next weekend of June's a big weekend here. We have The Flash coming, Elemental, Probably starting limited and releasing wider over the summer. Asteroid City and The Blackening, all in the same weekend. That's a lot. Yeah. So well, you know what? Start with Elemental. Sorry, Flash. You 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 can keep waiting. But Elemental, do you think Pixar can bounce back here? Like, and people will go see one of their movies?
I think it's gonna be a wild card. Mostly because last year we saw that Pixar did not hedge their bets correctly, that they probably should have released Lightyear on streaming and released Turning Red in theaters, because Turning Red became such a big favorite and, you know, should have gotten the big screen treatment. Whereas Lightyear kind of fizzled and people weren't sure what to make of it. Elemental is a step in sort of, you know, Pixar's territory of being very experimental and, you know, creating a new world, sort of like in the vein of like WALL-E and Inside Out.
Inside Out, yeah. This one reminds me, it makes me think of Inside Out a lot, yeah.
For sure. And it's gonna be like their first just romantic comedy. That really excites me because I've gotten to see a few scenes from it, and I recently went to Pixar. If you want to read about that, that is on IO9. And I'm excited because it's gonna tell, you know, like it gets I know the director wants to do stuff like, you know, he described it as like influenced by Moonstruck and The Big Sick.
Okay.
And I like the combination of those with the, you know, like the two elements who are from different worlds and how those will collide essentially, but then also kind of telling the story of, you know, an immigrant's daughter and kind of growing up and assimilating to a new society. Like, I think that's an interesting take on some of these stories that we haven't heard enough of. And Peter Sohn, you know, shared a few years ago at D23 Expo his story about how, you know, he and his family assimilated to culture by going to the movie theater. Like how, like, you know, there were that many things that he and his parents connected on growing up, but film was always like the medium that was like their bonding sort of moments. So I know that this is also like a love letter to his parents, and just the team that's assembled for it, and behind him, they're very like, you know, enthusiastic, but also trying so many different things in regards to how the characters look. And it's kind of like you said, like Inside Out, where like, you know, the different beings are a new form of animation, and I think they step it up a bit here because now the beings are constantly in motion because of the elements that they are. And that's really awesome. So, and Thomas Newman is back to do music for it.
Yeah.
That's also very exciting.
Yeah, no, I want to see this. It's like, oh, it looks like something original, cool, not a sequel. And my kids are both really wanting to go see that in the theater, so I just hope, because like I mean, it was nice to get the, like during COVID, it was really nice when they were like, we're gonna put Soul out on Christmas Day, and that kind of became the thing they were doing to Pixar. They kept what was the Italy one? Luca. They kept throwing them on Disney, but so it's like now you've trained people that they're just going to be on Disney Plus. So hopefully, and then Lightyear, maybe Lightyear was the sacrificial lamb of, hey, Pixar's back to being theaters now. Like, I don't know, but yeah, I don't think anybody was that interested in it. A movie that I swear was made to have an excuse to replace Tim Allen's voice at the theme parks, but I don't know. Who knows? That's just my little theory on that. And then okay, the Flash. Are you excited for the Flash? Are you like, it's this movie that's been through a billion directors. There's Ezra Miller, which I think, general public speaking wise, I think Ezra Miller's a non-controversy to general people because he's not a big celebrity. Like, that's, if you're on Twitter and stuff, yeah, you know, what a shithead. But I think general people just like, who? Oh, okay, like, yeah,
just all the things that they've done is definitely like very public on Twitter. And I mean, throughout history, there's been like problematic celebrities that have done a lot of things, and obviously, there's still a lot more that needs to be done in order to hold the systems that be accountable for still hiring folks who are not on their best behavior.
Yeah.
And but like you said, I think that it's a controversy because not most people don't know what's going on. And Ezra did agree to all the terms that Warner Brothers laid out in order to participate in publicity for the film. And honestly, people aren't going for them. They're going for Michael Keaton.
Just characters. And I have to admit, as like kind of weird as I'm like, when I saw the Super Bowl trailer and I saw Michael Keaton, I was like, oh, I didn't think I was gonna feel this way. I thought it was like,
and then it hits the emotions.
Yeah, but
the emotions see him
are
as
they?
Batman.
I fear that they're gonna try to somehow, in some way, say that, oh, Michael Keaton's Batman and Val Kilmer's Batman are different. They weren't. I'm like, really? Like, it never bugged me that this was the extension of this guy. Like, I have a feeling that they're gonna try to say something like that, but they have the same Alfred and Commissioner Gordon, and like, it's okay. Different people can play the same part. Like, I don't understand that. Like, I think multiverse stuff's like fun as hell you gonna do, but when you're just merely using it for like cleanup purposes, like, come on, like, no one cares that much about it. But like, I went through the 90s as those 4 movies having an arc across the 4 of them, which they do. If you follow the story of Bruce Wayne, he's finding himself through things and different roles. Even the Clooney one has a good Bruce Wayne narrative to it, even though it's not the greatest movie, as we all know. But I'm like, come on, they don't need to go there with that.
For sure. And I also think that it's such a disservice to the Flashpoint arc to just use it as a reset.
Right.
I'm a really big fan of the animated Flashpoint film, and in an ideal world, there would have been a universe set of films that kind of like led to those stories. Obviously, there's certain elements of Flashpoint that might not work anymore in this day and age. But it's still kind of a bummer that there's certain things we won't see, like, Martha Wayne as like female Joker and certain things like that would have been interesting. Although I don't know if we will or we won't see that. Who knows? Because this movie is probably going to bounce around and do different things. But I am excited to see Batman be back, and Kara's introduction.
Yes, yeah,
for sure. Like that gave me goosebumps to see that moment.
Michael Shannon apparently back.
Yeah.
I'm excited for. I like the DC people. Like, even throughout that, like, I have been a fan of what DC's like. Now going forward, it's gonna be different. But I wasn't against what they were doing. I was a person who loved the roll the dice of the DC movies. Like, I don't know what I'm getting this time, and I get weird things. Like, I didn't care if they connected cleanly or anything like that. Like, I like Birds of Prey. I like that one a lot. I like the Shazam movies. I like when they're doing just weird, different. Like, there's the Aquaman thing. That one's a gonzo blockbuster from James Wan. Just different things every time.
Aquaman movies too.
Yeah, Wonder Woman was a completely different. Like, I really like that one. Like, it's just they were really different every time out. Like, didn't hit every time well, but yeah, they're just strange and they work for me. Like the James Gunn Suicide Squad, that was a funny little movie. But yeah, it's just kind of, I wasn't against what was happening over at DC. I was like, they were just like, you know what, what we got? Okay, just go make a good movie. I don't care if it leads into something else or whatever, just go make a good movie first and do that. And they kind of got in that vibe, and they were making money on not like all, but like most of these. Like Joker made $1 billion. Like, that's insane. But so it'll be interesting with the Flash. James Gunn saying it's one of the best superhero movies he's ever seen, but also like I feel like the Shazam Fury of the Gods had the thing of like, well, this isn't going to count anyway, so why am I investing time in going? So I don't know. I have heard that some of Gunn's stuff may be introduced in the Flash, but I don't know. Don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it's gonna be a surprise.
Right. I will tell you one of my most anticipated movies, though, going for Flash, is Asteroid City because I'm a big Wes Anderson fan.
You're not here.
We're not there. The car exploded. Come get the girls. I have to stay here with Woodrow.
I'm not the chauffeur. I'm the grandfather. Where are you?
Asteroid City, Farm Route 6, mile 75.
Junior stargazers and space cadets. Each year we celebrate Asteroid Day, commemorating September 23rd, 3007 BC, when the arid plains meteorite made Earth impact.
Holy Toledo, that's Mitch Campbell.
You were very good in the one about the tramp in the brothel who gets amnesia and becomes a pediatrician. You were very awesome.
Actually, maybe my favorite character ever.
I don't know why nobody else liked it.
Oh.
What do those pulses indicate?
What? Oh, the beeps and blips? We don't know.
Some of our information about outer space may no longer be completely accurate. Anyway, there's still only 9 planets in the solar system as far as we know, Billy.
Except now there's an alien.
What's happening now?
I don't know. I don't like the way that guy looked at us. The alien.
How did he look?
Like we're doomed.
Maybe we are.
I've just informed the president.
How long can they keep us in Asteroid City legally?
The world will never be the same.
That's an alien doing jumpy jacks. That's an alien in a top hat.
What's out there? The meaning of life. Maybe there is one.
Are you married?
I'm a widower. But don't tell my kids.
You're saying her mother died 3 weeks ago?
Let's say she's in heaven. Which doesn't exist for me, of course, but you're Episcopalian.
In my loneliness, I learned to give complete and unquestioning faith to the people I love. I don't know if that includes you, but it included my daughter and your 4 children.
Sometimes I think I feel more at home outside the Earth's atmosphere.
Oh, wow. Me too.
They're strange, aren't they? They're children. Compared to normal people.
Yes, that's correct.
It's true.
Freight train, going so fast. Freight train, going so fast.
I do a nude scene. You want to see it?
Huh? Did I say yes?
You didn't say anything.
I meant yes. My mouth didn't speak.
And this
Oh
looks like
yes,
a lot of
totally.
fun.
I hope this is like just straight sci-fi.
Yes, in his own way. Yeah, like my son even like I took him to Air because I'm a cool dad who let him see a rated R drama about guys cussing in a room. My daughter too. So, but he lit up. He liked that trailer for Asteroid City. He's seen Fantastic Mr. Fox, Moonrise Kingdom, and Isle of Dogs. So it looks like a movie I could take him to. So, but yeah, that looks like a lot of fun. All the people are there, and Tom Hanks in a Wes Anderson movie. So
Yeah, using another voice.
yeah. So I mean, this one could be a big. I mean, people go to Tom Hanks movies even when they're bad. So maybe. We'll see. And let's see. The Blackening. Have you seen the trailer or anything for this one yet?
I don't know. What's The Blackening about?
It's like a parody movie. I saw it trailer for it with
I
Scream
have.
6.
I think I saw the trailer for this where it kind of rips on the tropes of the black character dies first, but they all agree to not die first. So it's kind of like we'll see where that goes. Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah, it looks
an interesting take.
I feel like so like a trailer, like I was like it's interesting, and I feel like they're hiding some really good stuff. Well, unlike other comedies that are just like showing everything. Like I feel like there's something good there, and I think it's commenting on a lot of the like black horror movies and stuff too that have been coming out in recent years that I think will be fun to see. The next weekend is one movie. It's with a lot coming out the previous weekend is fine. It's the No Hard Feelings, which is the Jennifer Lawrence movie, which I know Twitter didn't like the concept of that, but I don't think the movie is that dumb. I think they know what they're doing. I think there's a catch here, and I laughed. I chuckled at some where she gets hit in the throat and stuff in the trailer, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. No, I really want to see this movie, and the cast is great.
course,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I like
And-
Jennifer Lawrence. So like, yeah, I was like, this looks pretty funny. But I know the age difference thing really angered some people on the internets. But I think most people see, oh, Jennifer Lawrence kind of looks funny. I'll go see it. So
for sure, but I think you're onto something with like it might not be showing everything. There has to be something to it, and we are. It's unfortunate that there's stuff that happens like in the movie that kind of like explain certain things they don't want to show in the trailer. Like, obviously we kind of had that with the Super Mario's film, with Chris Pratt's voice, where there was like a hint at the joke about it and him not doing the stereotypical Italian voice, but then kind of doing his own thing. Like, and it turned out to be not as bad as people thought from the first trailer.
Right.
So, like always, like obviously share your opinions about the trailer, but then also kind of give movies a chance to surprise you in case there's more to it. Which
watch it first.
Watch it first. Yeah.
Like that's what I always get. Like, yeah, there's so much, and I know it's clicks, and that's what people like to do is discuss trailers and like break them down, but like crazy. So yeah, there's that. That's it that weekend, but because the next weekend we have Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken, and Harold and the Purple Crayon. Quickly, Harold and Purple Crayon. I have no idea. It's got Zachary Levi, Zoe Deschanel, Lil Rel Howery, Ravi Patel. It's based on a children's book.
Yeah, the children's book. I don't know if they've released any trailers for that.
Gotcha. No, I haven't seen any trailer for it myself. So I don't know.
I feel it would have been in front of like Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, that would have been if you want people to have your eyes on it. There's another movie I think is going to get a really good bump from that. We're going to talk about when we get to August, but yeah, and then Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken is a animated movie as well. So it's like, or it looks like it is. Yeah,
that one looked weird. I think that trailer was in front of Super Mario, and I was like, nah.
Yeah, yeah, it's got Laura Dern, Michael Sheen. It might be. This is like one of those too much things. But Indiana Jones, that's what people will be going to see. Which
that is
so far looks fine. Looks good.
Yes,
looks
good.
Have we met? My memory's a little fuzzy. Are you still a Nazi? Give him hell, Indiana Jones! What are you doing here?
Let's get you!
Hang on!
I have to think like Phoebe Waller-Bridge being involved, like I think is gonna be really good because like she's no dummy. I imagine she touched the script too.
Oh yeah,
like
she has real like Carrie Fisher script doctor vibes about her, where like she goes in and punches things up, and I'm sure that I'm excited for the chemistry between her and Harrison, which is in the trailer. I'm all in. We haven't had her be in anything for a while, so I'm just like, I hope this was worth the wait.
Yeah, like you mentioned the chemistry. I'm like, yeah, I got vibes of like Karen Allen Harrison Ford and Sean Connery Harrison Ford. I'm like, there you go. So apparently every odd one we get that chemistry drop there, because it's not there. Like him and Shia not quite there. Him and Kate Capshaw's like something entirely different, and I know what they're going for. And people like, I know people have their thing with Willie, but like I'm like, they're nailing what they're going for that. So the action looks good. The de-aging effects it's stunning. Although I did see a tweet where like they had the Luke Skywalker from The Mandalorian, they had Harrison Ford from the Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny, and they had Carrie Fisher from Rogue One, and said the stage is now set for Dave Filoni to make the worst Star Wars movie of all time. It's like, oh man.
Oh man, I don't want to speak it out into the universe because then it might happen.
It's like, oh boy. Yeah, it's like, oh no. But yeah, this one looks. I liked Mangold's work so far, and yeah, like I like both of his Wolverine movies he did were were awesome. He did the 3:10 to Yuma remake that I've always liked. So he's definitely someone capable, and I think if you're trying to get someone doing Spielberg stuff, they made a right choice there.
Definitely.
So, yeah, Indiana Jones Style Destiny. Okay, but we're July. Sorry for my stutter there. We get the directorial. Is it the directorial debut of Patrick Wilson with Insidious: The Red Door? Very excited.
I'm actually pretty optimistic about that one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think he knows the universes that he's been a part of, and I feel like he'd be a actor's director. So
yeah,
I can't wait to see where that goes. And it has the return of his son.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this has been a interesting franchise, which I originally, I like better than the Conjuring ones when it were first coming out. The first Insidious and stuff, I like that. Movies freaked me out a bit. There was like a moment in that movie that I was like, oh god, give me the willies, just the imagery. But this one, yeah, like a James Wan, largely successful off of that and other things. But then Lee Wanell, his directorial debut came from this, and now Patrick Wilson. So I like how these people working within it. It's almost like a TV show where like some of the stars start directing episodes.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
It's like Rose Byrne, you want to direct? You do one of these? Like, yeah, get these people directing stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely down with Insidious: The Red Door, and Joyride, which I'm hoping good things for this one too.
Yeah, I heard like really good reactions to it from South by Southwest as a really big, fun crowd pleaser that is like, you know, gonna be a good comedic break from all of the blockbusters.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Like you got Stephanie Sue from
Everything Everywhere
All at Once, and yeah, and she like this is like
Ashley Park from Emily in Paris, who I think she's one of the highlights of that show for me. So very excited to see,
because Sue's got the Fall Guy after Joyride, so it's kind of like where was she going career wise after it, because she's a young talent that's like, okay, what are you doing next? So definitely check that out. IFC Films has a Mel Elson and Mark Duplass movie coming out called Biosphere with Sterling K. Brown, but I have no information on it here. Now, the next weekend, perhaps my tops, I can't wait for it, this movie this summer, is Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Your days of fighting for the so-called greater good are over. You're fighting to save an ideal that doesn't exist.
Like showstopper. I'm ready to be floored. Like I love the Mission Impossible movie. It's one of my favorite franchises. I'm a big spy movie nut person, so and this is up there with the Bond movies for me. I cannot wait. These movies, like, I feel like they're gonna hit a brick wall at some point, but maybe not. Like, because the last 3 have been amazing. So where are you at with Mission Impossible? Are you a big fan, or?
I would say like I enjoy them every time I see them in theaters. They're always an experience. I have to see it in like on the biggest screen possible. But yeah, like I was very surprised by Top Gun Maverick last year, and I really enjoyed that. And every time I see, like I said, a Mission Impossible film, I always have a good time. Tom Cruise, what can't he do is like the question of these movies, and I like seeing that man run for his life across like planes, trains, automobiles. You know, it's gonna, that man he is cinema. So
yeah, he is.
yeah.
Like this one, I'm just like, holy crap. We were joking one time. I think we did a commentary on the first Mission Impossible, and Aaron, I think, said, if this was made today, Tom Cruise would really be on the train as it was going to crash. And then in the trailer for this one, they got the train and he's on the back. I was like, oh God, yeah, he did it.
Manifestation. He's doing it.
He's doing it. But yeah, these things, I remember like one of my favorite IMAX experiences was Ghost Protocol, and particularly the scene where he's climbing the glass building, and I was feeling woozy watching it, just the regular IMAX, just like, oh my God, don't fall. It just had that effect, and the guy goes big. You at least know the set pieces will not disappoint. If anything, and I really enjoyed these movies. I got chills with the trailer that slowly builds up the theme song. You're like, I'm like, oh, it's the Mission Impossible theme song. Okay. And I don't need another trailer. They'll give us one, but I'm like, this is good enough. Sell me on it. And I wonder how much of a Top Gun bump this one's going to get. Like, I have a feeling there's going to be a bump in the Mission Impossible money making because of just Tom Cruise is the Prince of Hollywood right now. So maybe. There is one other movie coming out that day called Theater Camp. It's a
no
Sundance
idea what
movie.
that is.
Sundance movie with Molly Gordon, Ben Platt. Directed by Molly Gordon and Nick Lieberman.
For the theater kids.
For the theater kids. The very next weekend is the Battle of the Summer, as Oppenheimer and Barbie face off.
I'm so excited for this.
Which people can go to both.
That's true. I'm definitely Team Barbie.
Okay.
In this regard, I will see Oppenheimer, I guess. I don't know. I've been feeling kind of off with Nolan films for the past few of them. I saw Tenet at a drive-in because I was like, "There's no way I'm seeing that on a small screen. I want to see it on a big screen."
Right? Yeah.
I was just lost and confused the entire time.
That would have been hard as a drive-in movie.
Yeah, it was hard.
For
sure.
I probably told this too many times on the show because it was an emotional experience for me. But like, I saw it in a 70mm IMAX, and I went the whole year. Like, it came out, and I saw it in December, and it was 2 weeks before it came out on Blu-ray. And I had a friend reach out, and he's like, "Hey, if I rent out the White River IMAX, which is our 70mm IMAX in town here," he's like, "I'm only gonna invite, like, I think he said 11 people, $20 a piece, or no, $25 a piece. You'll get popcorn and a drink with it. Can I count on you to pay and show up?" And I was like, okay. So we all we masked up, all spread the theater, and I got to see it the way Nolan intended or whatever, 70mm IMAX, and I hadn't been in a theater since Onward, like earlier, and I was just like, right when it started, I was welling up as this big IMAX thing. So
whoa.
I have a soft spot for Tenet, even though, yes, I was kind of like,
that's understandable.
So I was like, I'm back in a movie theater and all this, and it was just 11 people, and it was crazy. And then I didn't see another movie till Spiral the following summer after I got vaccinated. So but it was quite an experience to see Tenet like that. So that one I have some outside the movie attachment to. But yeah. But Oppenheimer I'm down for. I like how he shoots stuff. I'm just excited for the Nolan movies. I am looking forward to Barbie. I'll see both. I'm going to see both of them that weekend.
Yeah.
I will talk to you off air, but I know some things about Barbie and have some hesitancy, but so I'm just like, okay, but they're selling it really well. They're selling it very, very well.
Yeah, I mean, just the casting is Margot Robbie as Barbie.
They got my guy Ncuti Gatwa in there as a Ken.
Yeah. And Simu and Ryan Gosling. I am pro Ryan Gosling as Ken. I don't think he's too old.
No.
What?
And if anyone's got the funny chops to do what they're asking of him, then you got the guy. You got the guy right there.
And listen, like, I could definitely think of other people who could have been Ken as well. Like my personal, like, had they gone, I don't know, more Ken like, because I think Ryan Gosling is, he is that leading man that like is Ken in that regard. Does not exactly look like Ken, but shoot, I am blanking on his name right now. Top Gun. Not Miles, but the other guy.
Yeah, the guy he was on Scream Queens and Everybody Wants Some. Oh gosh, what's his name?
I know it generally, I don't know why I'm blanking right now.
Oh jeez.
He just got cast in Twister.
Are you talking about well, here I am. Glenn Powell?
Glenn Powell, yeah.
Yes.
I could have seen him be Ken, because he looks like Ken, like the doll. And he's also hilarious and could have played that. But I'm excited to see Ryan Gosling take a stab at it.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, there was a funny thing with there was a big controversy. There's a Doctor Who-esque type / art controversy because Ncuti Gatwa was announced as the next Doctor Who during this, and then Ryan Gosling was on set and he wore a shirt that had Ncuti Gatwa on it like this and was showing it off to like paparazzi or something on the set. Well, because he bought the shirt the shirt he bought, the art on it was not owned by the company he bought the shirt from, and the artist is a guy named Matthew Purchase, and he does commissions and stuff, and he does his own little art, and it even had his watermark on it, like, and everything. And then he was like, he blew up because that shirt was like in a paparazzi photo stuff, and like Russell T Davies and like Gosling and stuff reached out to apologize for even purchasing the shirt and stuff like that because of all that. So it was but that happened on the set of Barbie.
That's wild. Give this man a job.
Yeah, give the man. I mean, they've hired. I mean, BBC's hired him for some commissions and stuff before, but like, it was just crazy that that's why when you're buying stuff on the internet, be careful, because especially when you're a movie person, you get offered posters and you get offered like shirts, like in your ads that pop up. Like a lot of times they're not paying the artist and they're stealing artwork. So
exactly.
There's that. Also that day, there's a horror movie called Cobweb starring Lizzie Kaplan. So good luck to that one, going up against Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Lizzie Kaplan's great though.
She is great. I love Lizzie Kaplan. I'm probably gonna watch that Fatal Attraction show because she's in it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, seriously. I'm like, yeah.
I've like at first, like, she was in Mean Girls, but then she like, I don't know, age or something to where I didn't recognize that was her in she did this show called The Class that was on CBS that lasted one season with it was her and Bernthal was in it too, and then she was in Cloverfield, and I didn't realize the whole time she was a girl from Mean Girls. Like, I don't know what happened there, but that's just me. But yeah, so there's that. And then the next weekend we have Haunted Mansion and Sympathy for the Devil. So Haunted Mansion is another stab at the Disney ride. Do you think this one will work better than the Murphy one?
Honestly, I don't know if it will. There's a lot that I think, like, I don't know who the audience is for this besides me and other Haunted Mansion fanatics.
Oh, I like what they did with the Muppets. The Muppets did it fine. Why are we going right back to it? But this one, I mean, it has Jamie Lee Curtis, so I'm like, all right. And it's got Lakeith Stanfield, who I'm a huge fan of. So
yeah, and I like the filmmaker.
Yeah,
they had a very solid like horror film. I think it was a Hulu premiere.
No, he did Dear White People too.
Yeah. So I think that that has. I don't know how the movie is going to be, but just because you never know with these live action movies between the producers, the creatives who, probably have a really great idea for it, and then trying to market it and how that makes the movie ultimately, how that's going to play out. We don't know how that's going to go. I will say that the trailer had some really good scares set up.
Yeah.
The portrait scene was great. Like as Lakeith was going down the hallway, I really loved that. And although I am kind of bummed out about like the the way the ghosts look, sometimes they could be like a bit more CGI looking, but hopefully that's just the trailer. Then, I hope there's a lot of fun practical stuff in it as well. Because that's sort of like what makes Haunted Mansion the ride so functional, is because a lot of it is based off practical effects.
It's still spooky.
That's
it's still
spooky.
Yeah. Like, and they have the voice guy. I like that guy's voice through the Haunted Mansion, and he also did have you ever seen Hardware Wars? It's the first ever parody of Star Wars that was made in like 1978, and the people on there were friends with the guy and got him to do the narration, because it plays like a long trailer, so there's a narration like ham salad, da 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 da, like and stuff like that. And then he also did a board game called Shrieks and Creeks when I was a kid that I liked. It was a game where you would like move a piece and you grab a chip and you put it in this like speaker thing which hooked to your cassette player and would play parts of the cassette, and he would go back 3 spaces. So he's a really creepy voice for that.
Although one thing I will give the Haunted Mansion trailer credit is that it gave me the vibes of the Casper movie. It kind of had that energy, which I like. Between like the family member, like the mother and son, and some of like the kooky people that they enlist to help deal with the poltergeists of the ghosts in the house. So I think that could work for it, because I love Eddie Murphy, but he definitely overshadowed the rest of the cast, because it was like it's an Eddie Murphy movie, whereas with this one it definitely feels like it's a family story, and hopefully that it grounds it more.
Yeah. And was it correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't Guillermo del Toro attached to this at one point?
Oh yeah, he was. He and Ryan Gosling.
Okay. Yeah. So
it's just what I still personally believe that the Haunted Mansion should be more of like a Disney Plus anthology, where people
really
can't
cool.
agree on what the story should be, because the mythology is so dense. So many different concepts and characters went into the making of this ride, because there are like 999 ghosts, and there were different plots to the ride as it evolved, that fans always disagree on whether or not they like the movies, because they're like, well, they left out this character, they left out that character. It's like, make it a series and have different directors.
You can tie in Mr. Boogedy to it.
Yes, Mr. Boogedy.
Yes, Mr. Boogedy. You can tie him in there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, that would be cool. Like, why aren't they doing that? That would be great. That's a great idea.
It could have been The Haunting of Hill House for Disney Plus.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's a wonderful idea. Oh, well, now I guess I'll go see the movie still, but for that. Also that day, Sympathy for the Devil, a Nicolas Cage horror movie comes out. Got nothing on that. I'm sure maybe it gets delayed or smaller release. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then we'll move to our final month, August. First weekend has Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, Meg 2, The Trench, and Dreamin' Wild. Dreamin' Wild looks like it's a biographical drama. It's from Sundance. Has Casey Affleck, Zooey Deschanel, Walton Goggins in it, and so it's about the Emerson family and the tumult that followed the success of their self-recorded pop funk album of the same name. So Chris Messina also in this.
Okay.
So this is probably gonna play small, and hope it's probably gonna be like that summer, like maybe we can get some awards notice here type thing. I haven't seen Casey Affleck in anything in a long time, but he got his Oscar and also got the accusations at the same time. So he's probably been sitting around unused. So
right. Although you did bring up Ninja Turtles, which
that's
I realize that's the trailer that you said would get a boost for sure.
Yep, I think it's going to get a boost, and it's also showing that yes, Spider-Verse has had an effect, because that animation on Turtles is like, yeah, fuck other animation, let's go like what they're doing.
We have a very important mission for tonight. Love it.
exclusive. So you made contact with Mystery Goo.
We prefer the term ooze, but yeah.
Ooze.
It's nice, right? It's
I am so happy that Spider-Verse has affected just the texture in animated films, because boy was it rough for a long time with the whole CG things. I loved 2D animation growing up, and to see
I
that
love
now
what
finally melded.
Leica is like my favorite animation studio, because they do the stop motion stuff and mix it with CG things.
Exactly, yeah.
It stands out. And like the Del Toro Pinocchio, also really good. Like, so I've been really leaned on the stop motion stuff. But yeah, there's like you can tell different studios, but there's like a monotony to the 3D.
Like, I didn't know that, like before seeing Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, that it was
that one was awesome too.
And
Yes,
that movie was incredible. Like, it's
yes,
like I feel bad that it took so long for me to watch it that I'm like retroactively it's one of my favorite films from last year as well.
No, it is too. Yeah, I didn't get to it till after I made my top 10 last year, and I was like, damn. And I told my sister, I was like, yeah, well, I got the 4K for review, and so I put my digital. She shares my Vudu account, and I was like, yep, I put Puss in Boots up there, and she's like, was that a joke or whatever? I'm like, no, dude, see it. It's amazing. John Mulaney's hilarious. And it's got a really good story and like all that. And she watched it, loved it recently, but I was like, yeah.
Harvey Guillen as Perrito is incredible.
Great,
my gosh.
Yep. It is so good. That movie, yeah. And you don't even have to see Puss in Boots 1. Just go right to that one if you haven't seen it. Like, it's
for sure. I'm like, now do all the Shrek ones this way somehow.
Yes. So yeah, this Ninja Turtles movie, I'm really excited for it. I like the Ninja Turtles quite a bit. I didn't even like the Platinum Dunes ones. The first one is a post-production mess of a film, because I think they had William Fichtner as Shredder and then decided that's probably not a good idea, and then went and refilmed and cobbled together something. But I think the characters of the Turtles are really good in those, and I like Megan Fox's April in that. And then the second one, they made
she was great.
The second one, they made like everyone's dream Ninja Turtle movie, and then no one went.
Yeah,
no one went. Like, so, this one looks fun, and they have actual kids playing the turtles, so that's really cool. Also, high recommend to that Nickelodeon series that ran for like 4 or 5 seasons. I can't remember there was one that came after it, but I'm talking like the CG one was really good. That ran. It was the same time the Platinum Dunes was coming out. That one was running.
Yeah, for sure.
But this new one looks fun, and it has Spider-Verse fun to it. Is Jackie Chan as Splinter? Like,
amazing.
Yes, I'm down with this. I'm very excited, and I think the trailer's good, and I think that being tacked onto Mario, I think people are going to be ready for it when it comes out. So I think it'll probably do better than maybe I had thought of it. But at the time, I think with what we've been going through, there's a lot of animated movies in June, not so much July. Barbie's like the kid one for July, maybe the colorful thing, but here we are. I think Turtles is gonna clean up in the last month here
for sure
for family movies. Meg 2: The Trench, did you like the original Meg? Or
I did like the Meg. It was an elevated asylum movie.
Yes,
but...
no, it's fun stuff. Yes.
But it was so much fun. Jason Statham punching a freaking giant shark. I was all in, and I thought the plot was fun. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen this time, and if the shark punches back. Honestly,
right? Yeah. It's one of the better Jaws knockoff movie. I'm down for more Meg, and it's good B, solid B movie. Done with tag. Like I watched. I watched Cocaine Bear recently, and I wanted that one to be needed more alligator.
More like
it.
the Meg, yeah.
Well, yeah, like the Meg has that alligator factor of like, it's gonna be funny, but like, let's play it like it's not a lot of the time too. So like, there's like, because have you ever seen that movie, The Alligator, with Robert Forster? Oh, check it out. It's one of the best B movies of all time. There's like alligator in the sewers, and like he's got to get it out or something. It's awesome. and written by John Sayles. It's a cool movie. Bryan Cranston was a production assistant on it. So
that's wild.
Yeah, he on the Blu-ray he tells a story of like working with Robert Forster, production stuff, and then he was so excited to work with him, meet him and stuff, and did the movie. And then Robert Forster ended up being on Breaking Bad in like the last season because he was the vacuum store guy. And he said he went to him on the set and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to have you here. I asked to hopefully get you. I was on Alligator. I worked production." So he's like, "Oh yeah? What?" He's like told him the whole story about meeting him, their conversation, and like shook my hand. It was like that. He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, you remember this?" He goes, "Oh, no. No." He's like it was. He's like, "Oh, I shrank so little." He said that, but he's like, "Yeah, it was so funny." But yeah, that's the Meg. Yes, forward to it. Then we have a video game movie. The next weekend, August 11th, Gran Turismo with David Harbour and Orlando Bloom.
Yeah,
probably hoping to be better than Need for Speed, maybe.
Right?
I don't know, but
I feel like every 8 to 12 years we get the race car movie that tries to be like gritty and stuff, and then it just kind of fizzles out.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I have zero. This is a Neil Blomkamp movie, and aside from District 9, I have not liked his movies, so not fan of his direction. So yeah, Gran Turismo.
David Harbour's in it. I might catch it. He's great in most anything he does. I mean, obviously Violent Night was a very fun romp, so hopefully there's a weird aspect to it.
Right.
I like weird, so weirdly good, weirdly funny, weirdly bad sometimes works. So
true.
Who knows?
Who knows? I'll tell you what. I do know. I'm very excited for. We just got the trailer today when we were recording The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Yeah.
So this was a project that originated with Neil Marshall back in the day. He was trying to get this going, and I'd love to see like him do it, but you know what? Not to be. But we do get this one's got Corey Hawkins in it and Liam Cunningham, and this is the story of the boat that takes Dracula to the happenings of
the Dracula
story. Yes, because like Harker goes and he's trying to commission like Dracula, like decided to sell his castle and stuff and help him buy real estate, and during they sell it, and then he transports his stuff, the coffins with dirt in them, to across, and then when the boat arrives, everyone's dead on it. So this is the story of that boat ride, and I'm thrilled about that. That's such a cool concept.
It is the year of Dracula.
It is. Yeah, Dracula exploitation is back. We got Renfield, and then this, and there's like another two like in production. Like I believe it was 1979. We had John Badham's Dracula. We had Nosferatu from Werner Herzog, and then we had Dracula Love at First Bite with George Hamilton, all in the same year, and we're approaching that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I know Chloe Zhao is still working on the Western Dracula.
She's got a Western one, and I think
space Western, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the Nosferatu with Eggers. But that's not till like in the next couple years, probably.
Yeah, that's I think it's I don't think they've started shooting yet. I think there's still some casting or something with that one. There was one that was going to be done, I believe. I think it got canned by Karen Kusama. She had one that she was working
That one
on.
was the one I was most excited for.
Yeah, it was
honestly. That was the one where I was like, oh, that's going to be like a good just Dracula film.
Mm-hmm.
And for that one to have been the one that got canned in favor for Renfield, which is not doing entirely well.
Yeah.
Or at least not critically, because that comes out this week.
It comes out, yeah. It dropped tonight as we're recording. Yeah, it's Thursday. Yeah, so sneak preview night, and then tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
and then I don't know if Demeter will necessarily find an audience, but I do love the actors in it. Corey Hawkins, I've been waiting to see him break out as a lead.
He's my pick if they want to put Harvey Dent in the Batman too.
Oh,
I would love to see him.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, I like Corey Hawkins. So this is cool. I somehow I either forgot or didn't even know he was in this movie, and I saw him show up in the trailer. I was like, oh sweet, yes, he's in here. So I wonder if people are even gonna know it's Dracula going through this, because he's got the Nosferatu form. So I don't know. It looks like a cool little movie. So very excited for that. Also, okay, so we go the next weekend is Blue Beetle. This is our final, or no, second to last week. Okay. Blue Beetle, White Bird, A Wonder Story. Then Please Don't Destroy movie, which is the guys from I believe it's the Saturday Night Live guys.
Those,
they do those. It's an untitled movie as of right now. And then I think this is The Hill, which is a film based on the true story of Ricky Hill overcoming a physical handicap in order to become a Major League Baseball player, starring Dennis Quaid and Scott Glenn and Bonnie Bedelia. Okay. So yeah, that's one. But Blue Beetle,
I'm down for it. I like the trailer. I thought it was really funny. And you know, I hope it ends up tying into whatever's next at DC Studios.
Yeah.
I'm partially confident it will. James Gunn seems to really like it, so hopefully it could be incorporated and make its way.
Yeah, I have to wonder, that, and like, are you really gonna, if Aquaman 2 comes out and makes another $1 billion for them, are you gonna drop Momoa there too? So I'm wondering which ones of these try to stay. I know Shazam is like officially, they haven't announced anything, but like I know some people and that's done. So there was a chance those characters were going to continue, but that's not going to happen now.
Zachary Levi did not help the case there.
Yeah. So, but Blue Beetle looks like a fun little movie with like nice lower stakes to it and character stuff. It looks a bit Ant-Man like in terms of vibe.
Yeah, Ant-Man like, but also kind of like the most recent Power Rangers adaptation too, which I liked.
That was a good one. Yeah,
I thought like that movie and the second Ninja Turtles film with Megan Fox, they kind of like suffered from, I don't know, some weird judgment before people didn't see the movie.
Right.
Had they seen these movies, they would have probably continued.
Yeah. I get you. Yeah. The Power Rangers one surprised me too. I like that one too. Blue Beetle. Have you seen the trailer for White Bird, A Wonder Story?
No. What is this?
Do you remember the movie Wonder?
Kind of.
That was the Owen Wilson and Julia Roberts, and they had the kid who.
Okay. Was it the Tremblay one?
Yeah. Yep. Where
there's a sequel?
He wore the space helmet. Oh, Sabina, this trailer is like, what? So like it starts like, hey, like about some kid who bullied the Tremblay character, and then like he gets in trouble, and this kid gets sent to his grandma, who then tells a story of when she was younger, and then they're in school and these guys pick on her friend and them, and he's like, yeah, you stay away from me, Jew. And you're like, wait, what? And then they show like a window and like a Nazi flag comes down, and you're like, what is this movie? What? And then it's like White Bird, A Wonder Story. You're like, what the hell? Who went to Wonder is gonna want to go see this? Insanity. Like, you gotta watch this because it comes out of left field, the Nazi stuff. You're like, what? what is this? I think Helen Mirren in it? Yeah, Gillian Anderson and Helen Mirren in this, and it just looks nuts. And it's got the Wonder logo, everything on it, and I'm just like, why would you do another Wonder and do this? Like,
it just seems really questionable to create a franchise universe from this.
It just this direct, like, this could have been some other movie, and it feels like they're like shot some like before scene and then called it Wonder. Like, oh, I'm glad the Wonder franchise is continuing. Like, what? No, like, what franchise? What? Like, it's bizarre. It's almost like, I hate to, it's snicker worthy when you watch the trailer. Like, what? Just because you're just so caught off guard by this Nazi thing, and oh my gosh, yeah, I've seen the trailer a couple times, and I've heard audiences go, what? Like when they see the Nazi part, and then they see the Wonder thing, like, just confusion. So Wonder's back this summer, folks. Wonder's back. Obviously we don't know anything about Please Don't Destroy, but I have a feeling that will probably be something that gets word of mouth into like people checking on streaming and Blu-ray and stuff at the end of the day. With like a lot of the, like, what was it? Pop Star? Like, I'm feeling it could be Pop Star type.
Right, yeah. I mean, I've enjoyed some of their video clips for sure.
Yeah. And then it looks like our last movie is They Listen. It's a horror film by Chris Weitz. It has Catherine Waterston and John Cho and Ricky Lindholm and Keith Carradine, and I don't know what it is about. It's a Blumhouse. Yeah. So just it's got a horror film coming out at the end of the summer.
Oh. I mean, I like Catherine Waterston and John Cho.
I like Catherine Waterston a lot. That's why I was mad about that last Fantastic Beasts movie. I'm like, what? Sideline of my favorite. So yeah. Yeah, that's the summer as we have it. What?
When is the horror film that just had the trailer drop coming out? The one with the hand. That's not like, yeah. It looked really good. Hang on. I literally Googled the Hand horror movie.
Well, then you'll get 19. You'll get the Michael Caine one.
No, it's not called The Hand. Shoot. We recently wrote about it.
Is that one gonna go to like?
It's theaters, I believe.
Oh, is it theaters?
Yeah. I'm just making sure we're not missing. Oh, Talk to Me.
Talk to Me.
Oh yeah, we were missing Talk to Me. That was it's July 28th. It's A24.
Oh, okay.
Did you see the trailer for this one?
I might have. It's not listed here on my schedule. So yeah, Talk to Me. Okay, July 28th.
Yeah, it's like a disembodied hand that a lot of like Gen Zers like force each other to like invoke or listen to spirits from the other side. We can only,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
The time limit, you can't go over it, and then you become haunted if you do, or cursed essentially.
Yes.
That gave me like the heebie-jeebies. Like, I'm very excited for that one.
Okay, yes, I remember this
sure.
one. Yes, okay. Cool. Oh yeah, definitely. Talk to Me. That could be a small little hit that posts really well and has good legs. So yeah, Talk to Me. Cool. All right, so that wraps our summer here. So we're gonna do a quick thing here. Sabina and I are gonna I stole this from another show called The Town. But yeah, but that was really fun, so I thought I'd play with the summer. We're gonna pick 4 movies that we're in a draft style. So Sabina pick one, I pick one, blah 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 blah, of what we think will make the most money at the box office, and try to have our totals beat one another for this. So I will let you pick first, Sabina, what you think the highest grossing movie of the summer will be. You're muted.
Oh my goodness. The highest grossing movie of the summer. I want to say The Flash, but I feel like I could be wrong.
Okay.
That's my first guess.
Okay. Well, I mean, not your guess. You pick. You want to stack together
This is
movies.
my pick.
So you're gonna pick 3, and then I get to pick one for you, and then you'll pick one, I'll pick one, and then when it comes to our 4th selection, I pick one for you, and you pick one for me.
Okay. Actually, can I switch it?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I will hedge my bets with Fast X. I think that'll be the highest grossing.
That'll be the highest grossing. Okay.
Yes.
You choose Fast X. I am going to choose. Oh man. I'm gonna go with Barbie.
Oh, okay.
It's got hype beyond belief right now, so I'm gonna go with Barbie. So you pick another one now.
Spider-Man into Across the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
My second choice.
All right. My next choice is going to be The Little Mermaid. And one more for you there. Your third choice. You have Fast X and Spider-Man.
My heart wants to go with Indiana Jones.
Okay.
But my brain wants to go with Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning.
Oh, okay.
So that's where I'm at. I'm torn. But I'll put in Indiana Jones.
Okay.
With Destiny.
All right. And I will pick. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Mission Impossible because I don't feel like Oppenheimer will stop its progress. It'll take its IMAX screens from it, but I think it can run alongside Oppenheimer, and I don't think it's counter to Barbie. So I'm gonna go Mission Impossible. So now I'm gonna pick first, since you picked first of this. I'm gonna pick one for you, and I'm gonna give you your 4th one is gonna be About My Father.
What?
I'm trying to sink you. I gotta win this. So
Okay,
the goal, the idea here is to pick one of the bombs to add to mine to sink my. So
I pick White Dove: A Wonder Story for you.
White Bird. Okay. All right. I thought you were gonna say White Man Can't Jump. I was like, oh, well played. But yeah, this is another. Okay. So to recap, Sabina's picked Fast X, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Indiana Jones: Dial of Destiny, and About My Father. And I have Barbie, Little Mermaid, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, Part 1, and White Bird: A Wonder Story. Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing, but with Rotten Tomato scores, critic Rotten Tomato scores. What has the highest? Pick what you think will have the highest percentage. So your first pick.
For highest percentage.
Highest percentage.
I pick Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning.
Okay. I will pick. I'm going to pick Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Your next pick?
Barbie.
I will pick Asteroid City. One more pick.
My third pick is going to be Guardians.
Oh, okay. Yes. Mine will be Elemental. And then, okay. Now my pick for you, I'm going to give you the lowest. So the idea is pick the lowest one. I'm going to give you Gran Turismo.
Okay.
All right. And now you pick one for me.
What were we talking about? That like shocked me. I mean that was the Wonder one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we can't pick ones we've already picked.
You can pick one. This is a different category, so yeah.
The Wonder movie.
Okay, You're like, this is gonna be the shit bomb of the summer.
Yeah.
All right. White Bird of Wonder. Okay, so to recap, Sabina has Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Barbie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and Gran Turismo. I have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Asteroid City, Elemental, and White Bird, A Wonder Story. I might have to buy merch from that movie. I'm connected to it. Okay. Now just one pick. So these are just one-offs here. So the movie that you think will have the lowest box office, but the highest critic rating.
Okay. It pains me. Well, I think, yeah, Asteroid City.
Okay. I had that too. But I would pick a different one because we're not going to pick the same. Lowest box office, but highest critic rating. I'm going to go with Joyride. But Joyride doesn't have to make a ton to be a hit, though. So that's hopefully. Okay. And then the highest box office, lowest critic rating. What do you think?
The Flash.
The Flash? Okay. I'm going to go with Fast X.
All right.
Because I feel like critics were hot and popular with Fast. The last couple they've been like souring on. So I'm going to go Fast X. Okay. Now, our last one. And all of these will be like the Rotten Tomatoes ones will be decided. So if we like tied for some reason, we would go to the actual score for that. So, now the biggest critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes and audience rating disparity. So either the critic score is really low and the audience is higher, the audience hates it and the critics think it's awesome. What do you think will have that?
I think that's going to be The Flash. For like, I think audiences are going to love it and critics are going to hate it.
That's what, okay. That's what I was going to get. Okay, so you pick The Flash. I'm going to pick... I'll pick The Little Mermaid. For that. Okay. We've done it. We have almost 2 hours. Summer preview, but I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you, Sabina, for taking the time out to preview the summer, and I can't wait to come back and reflect and see how we did on our picks.
I'm excited to find out.
Oh yes.
I think we counted horror out, which is not a good idea.
Yeah.
There's like there's a mixed bag of horror films coming out, and I think that there's gonna be one that's probably gonna like have legs.
True. Let's hope. Let's hope it's a bunch of horror that does it. But horror's like, yeah, like they can be huge successes while not having to make like Fast X money and stuff.
That's
like,
true.
There was that summer where The Conjuring came out, and that was a real big boom. With that one, that's where like James Wan became like the first director to have like 2 $40+ million openings in the same year, because he had that in Insidious Chapter 2. But yeah, that sometimes in The Quiet Place, that was, or no, those were spring, weren't they? Or were they summer? Can't remember. Quiet Place 2 was a summer movie.
Yeah.
And that was big because that was one of my first. That was my second post-vaccination movie once I came back to the theaters. Okay. So yeah, the horror. Yeah, sorry if we counted you out, horror. Go bad.
Surprise us, horror.
But in horror's defense, White Bird, A Wonder Story looks pretty horrific. So we did bring that up quite a bit here. But Sabina, before we go, where can people keep up with you all summer long?
people can keep up with me on gizmodo.com/io9 or just io9.com, talking about the upcoming film and television slate and genre, and also theme parks, everything in the Disney Universal field, but also immersive experiential activations. Universal's going to have their own horror thing coming up at Area 15 in Las Vegas. I'll be keeping track of that. And for, like Brandon said, like a look at some of the fun stuff I'm doing, definitely check out at Going Cool Places on Instagram and TikTok.
Awesome.
And then on Twitter, you can find me on @Sabina has no R for as long as Twitter remains alive.
It's like we keep wanting it to die, but it's still there, and we still go on it. And
it's a zombie.
Habits. Really what it is. So, okay. Well, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Brandon4KUHD. My written work is on whysoblue.com. When you hear me next week, it's pre-recorded all through the summer. So this is the most recent me. Have a good summer. Enjoy the summer of 93 at 30, which starts next week with myself, Scott Mendelson from The Wrap, and Aaron Newworth from We Live Entertainment, Why So Blue, and Out Now with Aaron and Abe, as well as myriad of guests doing music video episodes throughout the summer. Some the same from last year, some newbies in there as well. Enjoy it. I have a lot of fun doing these. Our first week of movies, the slate is the Bruce Lee's, or Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. What else is it? Yeah, that's the big one from our first week that we talk about, and some other movies as well. I'm blanking on it, but I'll see you guys at the end of the summer. I'll be here with Sabina. That'll be fresh me. Hopefully I don't get COVID at the end of the summer again, and I don't have to delay things. So yeah, that was last year. But yeah, so thank you very much, Sabina. Thank you everyone for listening. Have a good summer at the movies. Yes. Tweet us, comment us with what we got wrong, your picks for these things. Yeah, let us know your picks. Let us know what you're looking forward to. Have a good one and stay film positive.
Thank you for listening. The Brandon Peters Show is a Creative Zombie Studios production. Produced by Brad Shoemaker and Brandon Peters. Written and edited by Brandon Peters. Announcer vocals by Jessica Alsman. Theme song by Metavari. Web design and show art by Brad Shoemaker with Brandon Peters. All music and clips featured in the episode are property of their respective studios, and no infringement is intended. Additional information on this and other episodes at BrandonPetersShow.com. For any inquiries, press opportunities, or sponsorship, contact mail at BrandonPetersShow.com. The show is available on Apple Music, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts are found.